Maybe we should edit this out.
No, leave it in.
No. I feel like I've denigrated my friend's memory. Could you please? I'm just kidding.
Our number is 213-536-9180. Our email is sloppysecondspod@gmail.com. Now on with the show.
Talk about peeking.
And then she flies away on her broom.
Oh, I didn't know about that. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very excited for today's program.
Me too.
Yeah, there's a lot happening. A lot of bright colors. What are you doing? Comedy?
Doing comedy. No, it's
Came
just
dressed like Rainbow Bright?
If I had a new dress, I'm going to wear it first thing I can until I die.
And you made this?
I made this.
Oh, so what? 5 wears and then the garbage can?
Absolutely. I think I'm going to start selling it.
Oh,
again.
With the stink.
With the
Stuff
stink
it
on
into a jar.
Because then there's all these new fat queens coming up in WeHo, and I need them to know. I got your fat, basic walk-around dresses ready to go.
Actually.
New business idea?
Yeah, make the patterns. Let the girls have.
Come on, you big fat chubs.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on the Sloppy Seconds YouTube channel. Make sure to hit subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We have new episodes every Friday right here on the channel. Right, Meatball?
Every Tuesday, Friday. Just Fridays here. Our guest today is a drag icon of the damned. She's a campy horror queen who has spent decades, that's kind of rough, resurrecting cult classics, corrupting midnight movie audiences, and proving that glamour and gore go hand in hand. And how about those eyebrows? Who wrote this? Please welcome San Francisco's own Peaches Cries.
Hi. Oh
Hi,
my
Peaches.
God. It's like deja vu. I was
back
just here.
again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but now I'm on this far superior podcast.
Sure.
Yes,
Oh,
it's just
sure.
The elite.
Yeah.
And it looks different. In
It
here,
does.
doesn't it? So
I assumed
Colorful.
that you did this all for like a Easter broadcast, but it's not.
no, every day.
See, when we come up with ideas, we never think about the implication of color or what story it might tell. We just thought this gives kindergarten second place.
I love it.
Second place.
Second place.
That's
Yeah.
right. Wait, decades. You are celebrating 30 years as Peaches?
Yes. Can you
God,
believe it? I
that's
moved to
crazy.
San Francisco in 1996. So I say 30 years. It's really more than 30 because I did Peaches before I got to San Francisco. In my film, Mopper, a love story. That's where I made my drag debut. as
Sing the
Peaches.
theme song to Mopper?
Mopper, a love story. We're going to mop up that
You forgot the. That's the
Yeah.
way
sweet
it
sound
is.
at the end.
That's because that's how it sounds when you shoot.
Wait,
you know?
Right, yeah. Yours doesn't?
No, I do.
Weird.
Not for me, it doesn't. I was...
I
sorry,
just
really
make
quick.
that noise when it happens.
Oh,
yeah.
That's fun.
And real
I
quick-
do it after.
What was the plot of Mopper, a love
It
story?
was actually kind of Disney in some ways. The
Sure.
faculty hated it, but it was about a guy who was an outcast in his high school, and he's living in Times Square. This is how long ago it was. Times Square was all porno stores at the time, and he's down on his luck, and he gets a job as a janitor at a porno store, but it's a mopper where strippers perform, and the prom queen from his high school is a dancer there, and so it's all about them eventually going on a date, but she doesn't realize he's the dork anyway. And
because
Peaches,
he takes his glasses off. and all of a
Peaches
sudden-
is the manager of said emporium. Yes,
Oh.
so that's when I first started.
A straight love story.
It is a straight love story. That's right.
See? Ally.
Ally.
What's funny is I was driving here and I was like, yeah, I'm on my way to the podcast. And I was talking to my friend on the phone and he was like, it's so early.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's like regular middle of the day.
For you.
Like what? Well, hold on. It wasn't about getting ready or being in drag. He was like, how are you going to talk about all that nasty gay you talk about in the middle of the day? Isn't that a nighttime activity?
Really?
And I was like, baby, we talk about first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
around
baby. We
here."
open up with
I thought you were going to say that he felt like it was cruel to us poor queens who have to
Well,
wake up at the crack of dawn. But no, just
no.
another.
It's your fault.
Oh, so now you want to blame me?
Well, remember when we used to record later in the day and you were like, can we do it earlier?
Because
I like it earlier, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so fucking
I can get home by
talking
5 o'clock
about?
and it feels like my day
I'm
restarts.
literally going to be in bed in San Francisco tonight because we're doing this now.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so
Punk
that's
too.
yeah. But if you were later in the day, you know, the flights it becomes trickier.
But requesting a drag queen to be somewhere at 8 a.m.
Crazy.
That's a very
Crazy
different
behavior.
Because then we did a show together in New York. What was it? Drag Me to Dinner.
Oh
Me,
my
you,
God.
TV
We did a TV show together.
We did a TV show, and the call time, I believe, was like 6 a.m. And we
was
had to show up
crazy.
fully done
Yeah.
at 6 a.m. And that was the craziest part of it. Because
and you were crazy.
I don't know what you mean.
Every day.
Okay, they were so unhinged. It was so great because Heklina and I, of course, think that we're like so wild, you know? And we were like, oh, they're going to put us with some tired and you know, they're not going to be very funny. Then they told us who they were putting us with, which we weren't supposed to know. Do you know that?
We didn't know.
Well, I knew only because they didn't tell us.
Well,
Someone told me.
Yeah, we
You
know
can imagine
who
who
told
told
you.
me, a writer on that show.
Oh, duh.
And so I knew, and I said to Heklina, we won the jackpot because they're going to be so fun.
Yeah.
And then we did, but they were
like
unhinged.
Heklina didn't like me the most.
it was kind of, she broke a bulb and it fell into the food.
Yeah.
And then they served
It's their
it.
fault for having lights that close to me.
Their fault for trying to
and
illuminate
then
a
we
bit.
like cleaned up the mess, and then they went and like when it came time to serve the food to the judges, they had stuck a piece of the broken glass bulb in the food, so
Yeah.
it was just like there.
And we lost. Me and Heklina lost.
I guess.
And then we know what happened to her. So I hope you feel good about yourself because, my God, Meatball, that was kind of the beginning of the end.
You
I
killed
hope I
Heklina,
killed
is what
You
it
killed
was.
Heklina.
Actually,
You know what? It
call
wasn't on
the
American
British
soil,
police.
so I will not take ownership of this.
You know what's funny now is no one wants to come to London with me. It's true. I brought Roma the fall. Anyway, is this okay? This kind of conversation?
Well,
Oh,
this
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
the first. I wanted to know before we dive too far in.
Yes.
Like there's so much like mystery and
Yes.
scandal
Yes.
around Heklina's death.
Yes.
And you were there. You were at the forefront.
yes,
you were like the main point of contact around all of this.
Yes.
What do you want people to know, sort of in a real way? And obviously,
yes.
we can keep joking about it, but like,
yeah, that's
what
a
is
good
the
question.
scenario?
So, for those of your listeners who don't know, Heklina was a legendary queen
Yes.
who she and I were very much a duo.
Yeah, Meatball's been bullying her on this podcast for years.
Exactly.
Because she was one of my biggest inspirations.
And one of the funniest people I've ever met,
Yeah.
and just such a
Pig.
ambitious. Yeah, she was just so. Yes, she was. She was a dick pig. She was one of the, I mean, that was a part of the story was that when we were in London together
Mhm.
and we, been friends for 27 years, 30 years of Peaches, she and I, really were very close, chosen family.
Yeah.
So when I joke about it, part of that for the listeners to understand is our love language is teasing.
Mhm.
We cope. I mean, when in the 90s, it was constantly AIDS jokes,
Right.
and a lot of people don't get it. They just react. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, this is how we deal with life.
Yes.
This is how we cope.
Yeah.
So just that caveat alone, of course, it was devastating. It was the transformational moment in my life. There's the moment before I found her dead and the moment after, where your
Jeez.
life changes forever,
Mhm.
right? Forever. So I don't want to undersell how big it was.
Yeah.
That being said, the next part is horrible because I worked with the London Met Police to, I cooperated. Well, they took my passport. I was a
Right.
suspect, all of that. Because we were sharing a flat and, I had to explain to them like, oh, actually I went to a hotel down the street so my friend could trick and drag.
Mhm.
They don't get it. And
Yeah.
there were drugs involved, so there was a lot of judgment, but they assured me that when I got back to the US, I would be included with the next of kin and I was seen as family and that both of us, certainly Nancy French, who was next of kin, has the legal right to know everything. Right. And then they ghosted us. We would email, we would call, we would, I would use every resource I had. I would get the shortest answers back or no answer at all, sometimes for months at a time. And eventually there was a situation where about a year had gone by and someone who is on the inside asked to meet me in San Francisco. And he is a coroner. And he was there when she was brought in at Westminster Morgue.
Wow.
And he took me to coffee and said, they're lying to you and they know more than they're letting you. I mean, so it turned into a movie for me and it became a nightmare. So then I accused the Met Police of this. And then we had a big Zoom call where they then acknowledged that a negative bias had been brought to the case. Well, what I didn't know is that the Met have a huge, long-standing history. Like my British friends then start telling me about all these horror stories, including like if you haven't heard of the Grinder Killer.
Yes.
So they were surveyed after that happened, like where an independent party came in to research the culture of the Met Police.
Yeah.
And so that was 10 years before Heklina, where a survey was published that said they have an institutional deep-seated homophobic problem. And, you know, that was brought over into this case for sure.
Jesus.
The only reason they responded to me to one email was when I wrote and said, I'm coming back to London. The press are asking me all about this. I'm not able to give answers. And my own fan base thinks I'm lying because of course they do. Yeah. Of course people think when I say I don't know what happened or there's no, death certificate or there's no autopsy that we've seen. Of course, months later, they're like, you're lying. I wasn't lying. Yeah. But when I said I was doing my show at the Royal Albert Hall, I got a response. And then I was pissed because then they realized, oh, she's important enough to have a show at the Royal Albert Hall. We should probably respond. So when we did the Zoom call and they acknowledged homophobia, they told us everything would turn around. Another 9 months goes by with nothing. So that's when, and you and I were kind of talking about this before. Yeah. I do not want to be the person who screams homophobia.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where if you are an underrepresented group, you're doing a disservice to all your peers if you inaccurately identify something that way. But at this point, they'd admitted it and then they ignored me again. Fuck. So I went to my husband knew the editor of The Guardian.
Right.
So I called her.
And that was the big expose.
And that, there have been a few.
Yes.
But that was actually a smaller thing that came out first. Okay. The first one, because there's been a series, because they assigned an investigative journalist to the case.
Oh, wow.
But what it did was 3 days later, the Met Police call me and Nancy and say, we're thinking of releasing the CCTV footage we have of the men that were with her. Almost 2 years later. So that's when I decided to go to London and hold a big protest. And then, of course, that got me on the BBC and all this stuff. Now, I love London. I still love London. I love it all. I'm going back in April. That being said, I didn't know enough. I didn't know that this was... that we have a huge problem in this country, obviously, with the police's relationship to Black folks.
Yes.
We know that it's well documented. Well, I don't know that I knew that they had this in England. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to make a big stink about it. Because that's the least I can do for my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of where we're at. And they're definitely, since the protest, I will give them credit. The case is moving. They're in constant communication. But things like I had to give my DNA again.
Meaning,
how did you lose it the first time? You idiot.
They didn't lose it.
Yeah.
They threw it away.
They threw it out.
I mean, that's what we're...
That's crazy.
There's a documentary in the works. And so all of this will, I'll tell the fuller story.
Yeah.
Because even now...
But it's also... And to go back to your initial point of like how you cope, it's like...
It's comedy.
And leave it to Heklina to leave you a nightmare when she leaves.
Well,
you know what I mean?
If the shoe were on the other foot, she
she
wouldn't even have gotten real. She just would have been cracking jokes about dead peaches. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so if you don't know Heklina, you should know that this is completely how she would want to be honored.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, we're going to get into some other stuff. And now, I was going to say, we're going to take a little break.
My God.
We're going to take a break.
We're going to take a break.
I'm a mess. I was like, I can just roll in there and be, I'm not wearing a corset. You should see what Meatball looks like underneath that.
I have an iPad in front of me.
And you have just a little gunk on your lower.
Okay, when we come back,
we're gonna check the mirror.
When we come back from the break, I have a bone to pick.
You know when your closet is full, but you still have nothing to wear? Well, I don't have that problem anymore. All thanks to Quince.
Yeah, and Quince has tons of clean and elevated basics that actually all work together.
That's right. I love my short sleeve Mongolian cashmere polo. Their cashmere that they have it feels so fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I've never had anything like that before. I have a long sleeve one, a hooded one, a pullover, and then the short one feels like a fancy elevated version. For dressing up, for fancy dinners, for spaghetti dinners.
For beautiful spaghetti dinners. Well, you know what I got is these really nice linen shorts.
I saw those.
Oh, and they're light and they're breathable and I can wear them wherever. And here's one thing about them. They don't wrinkle up like a cheap short.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I'm not walking around with like a wrinkly diaper butt.
Period. And the quality at Quince is legit. 100% Mongolian cashmere, Pima cotton tees, and European linen. So it's giving luxury without the markup.
And that's because Quince has cut out the middleman. There's no crazy retail prices. It's just really solid pieces that last.
So stop overcomplicating your wardrobe.
Right now, go to quince.com/sloppy for free shipping and 365-day returns. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Quince.com/sloppy.
That's a full year to build your wardrobe and love it. And you will. Now it's available in Canada too.
Ooh, Canada. Go to QUINCE.com/sloppy for free shipping, 365 days returns.
Quince.com/sloppy.
Get yourself in a Quince.
What's the bone?
Well, I think we need to address the elephant in the room.
Whoa.
I know. I am talking about one of you. And
I get it.
I was
Sister.
here mere days ago, and I recorded a whole show with Big Dipper sitting in this chair and Alaska. I subbed for Willem, which sounds so awful.
Gross.
I know.
Yes.
Willem topping?
Yes,
Yuck.
Now I have a prolapsed anus, but
Wow.
I did get on Race Chaser, so it was worth it. Show business.
Yeah.
Anyway, Big Dipper, Alaska, told me that I had a wonky eyelash. And when I was reading the comments, because of course I read the comments before I watched the show, as you do, which you really shouldn't do.
No.
This is the advice I give all my drag children. Never read the comments. But what do? That's the first thing I did. And most of them were really like, Peaches was great. She had good energy. And it was really lovely. And then it was like, Peaches is giving that Gia gun, And I'm like, Gia gun? I was like, maybe I come off as tilapia. I started thinking it was a
They were saying,
compliment.
fish, honey.
Yeah,
She
I was
said,
like,
I just got my ribs
I was like,
broken. Sweet.
they think I'm a trans woman.
Highest compliment.
But then as I read on, I realized, and then I went and looked, and sure enough, like if I was looking down at the iPad, one eye was totally open and one was closed.
See, I haven't seen you in person in a really long time.
And you were like, that's her thing.
So I was like, that's what she looks like. I don't know.
I mean,
that's why it's good that you're on
fair
this one, because I always got something going on different, and so they're used to it.
Well, what's funny is I actually just love your makeup.
Well,
Your makeup
I
is
miss
great.
really draggy makeup, and I will say I think we're getting back to that.
It's swinging back.
Let's look at your eyebrows.
Well, today they're fighting each other.
No,
But they're
not.
also
They're
just-
good.
Like, there's
Well, yeah, normally I blend them through, but I was running a little late this morning because I woke
you
up
always
at
are
9.
like,
I
oh, I
like
was
it.
running late, and then you look at her eye makeup, and it's like so intricate and blended.
Yeah, how
and,
long
like-
do you take to do
This
a
morning it was
face?
like 45 minutes.
But sometimes
But
she'll
sometimes
do
I'll
3
do,
hours.
if I have a photo shoot or something.
No, because photo shoot, they Photoshop.
Yeah.
No, you can't assume they
Sometimes
will.
you
They will
can't.
fuck you.
No, the way she,
But-
not the way she does
photoshops
it.
I look
you
no
take
texture.
so photographers shoot you and then you do the editing.
Sometimes I'll,
No, she
sometimes I'll
puts
slide
her foot
on
on
in
there.
Wow.
Photoshop. But
No, she knows how to blackmail him.
but sometimes it'll take
Right.
like 3 hours if
Yeah.
I'm trying to look
Yeah, yeah,
perfectly
yeah, yeah.
even and like if I'm doing a show out of town and there's nothing else
Can
to
you
do
look
but
at
hang
me?
out in the airport
Okay.
or in the hotel.
I think you look good.
Thank you. I think you
What
look
I'm
good. Well, your
obsessed-
makeup was a big inspiration for me.
For real?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to read
the
me?
color stack going
Okay,
up.
so my inspiration was I had read that Divine, because of course I knew that I didn't want to be Divine.
Right.
I grew up in Maryland. John Waters, huge inspiration. But I read that Divine and John and Van Smith, who
Yes.
actually created Divine's makeup, were looking at pictures of Bozo the Clown. And so I went and looked at Bozo the Clown, and that's where this makeup comes from.
Do you know about New Bozo?
No.
It's been purchased. The
What?
rights to Bozo have been purchased
No.
by David Arquette.
Yes.
Who is now running around as Bozo the Clown.
No.
And I just want to sit him down and do his makeup for him.
Because it's
so bad.
Well, can you get to him? I know
have
how.
no way.
David.
You need to get to it.
Bozo!
You don't need to do it.
The person I would reach out to, because I don't know him, is Jackie.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Because
sure.
she's,
well, maybe
she was
answer a text.
so close with Alexis,
Yeah.
Right.
and then I know that she's still in touch with the siblings. So
But that is like, imagine that as your pivot. I purchased the rights.
You just
to
sell
Bozo the
peaches to
Clown.
someone else. You just run the show and then you get a
I
peaches
love
going.
it.
Yeah.
He's truly. Well, you know what? Cassandra tried that. I don't know if you remember. She did a search for the next Elvira. It was a whole reality TV show, and the poor girl.
VH1.
I mean, imagine something like that.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, it was a whole season, like a drag race or something, right? And they were all. It was kind of amazing. Some were queens, some were cis women, and they were all competing to be the next Elvira.
That's
and then this
crazy.
winner wins, and Cassandra's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to retire."
Uh!
Can you imagine?
I wanted to talk about Elvira for a little bit.
Yes.
You've gotten to work with her a lot, right?
She's my drag mother.
What?
Yes.
That's cool.
It's well, it was, a long time coming, and I sort of bullied her into saying it, to the point where I literally kind of had to be like, why won't you say it? Why won't you say that you're my drag mother? It got
gosh,
weird.
that's
It got
hilarious.
weird.
That's
But
what
then-
I do when I ask you about being friends.
Why won't you be my friend?
And you're like, we work together, and that's about
You're
it.
a colleague.
I
Yeah.
call him a business associate at best.
At best. Say you're my friend.
And we work together so
Have
often.
you guys had sex?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yuck!
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know how queer people
gay
are. I
people
mean,
are.
let's
It
face
is-
it.
Most of the time,
well-
it's like they have sex first and then become friends.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not
Especially
friends.
queer
Yeah,
people in
you-
LA.
Oh,
Oh, right. You're an associate. Yeah, you don't really have sex with people and then have them become a business associate.
we
Yeah, that makes sense.
we had a big house at a bear event recently in Palm Springs, and she showed up sort of 12 hours after the rest of us, and she was like, what's been going on in here? And I was like, we're all
You
just
could
friends.
smell it.
I could
It's
smell
fine.
it. Well, and then I heard a story about something about a butt plug the night before, and I was very much
Ah.
like, hey, I'm not eating in this kitchen.
Exactly.
Not eating in this kitchen.
So
Right.
Elvira is your drag
Yes.
mother, and then your drag kids are Bob and
Jinx. Well, I have many drag children,
Sure.
and some abortions. I mean, the reality of it is,
Name them.
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
well, you know Seth.
Oh, stinky Seth.
Veruca bath salts. And the only reason I consider her an abortion is because she just sort of stopped doing
She just
drag.
stopped doing drag.
And I feel like you cannot, because she'll still post things like, hello, mother. And I'm like, no, I can't be your
She'll
drag
post
mother
some
if you don't do
real
drag.
old videos from
Yes,
back in the
and
day.
she's like,
and she's like,
"What?"
remember when I did this? And I was like,
Yeah, we so let's shame her. You
was
know?
she in a band?
No,
Oh,
but she
okay.
did nightlife, and and of course, I her drag is so boogery and it's very me. I love it. Whereas Jinx and Bob, it's kind of like,
they're
oh
glamorous.
yeah, I totally take credit for all of their success. but can I really? I mean, they're just really talented, and with each of them, I have a different relationship.
Right.
And Mink Stoll and Elvira are my drag mothers, mostly because I didn't really have a drag mother. And then when I met them, I was still young enough. I met Mink 25 years ago. I was still young enough to need mentors and to need mentorship. And those were the two, along with John, who really were the people that guided me, and it's very surreal because I will always be a fan first. I'm never truly casual about the fact that they're in my life or that we're friends.
Right.
It's not something it's still surreal for me, if that makes sense. So it is true. Yes, we're very, very close. I'm going up and I'm dog sitting for Vinny next week. I'm staying at Cassandra's house for 10 days.
Wow.
I get to live there. And that's weird because I'm living in Cassandra Peterson's house.
There's a way
That's
to
always the thing.
you go ahead.
When you meet someone that you're a huge fan of and then they're chill with you,
Yeah.
my heart is always still if I get a text
Your heart
from
must
someone,
be going
I'm
crazy
because
right
I'm so
now.
fat. Yeah. Yes.
I'm your
wish
friend.
Where's Heklina? Heklina was here.
But I think there's a way to compartmentalize it too, because I know I've seen you interact with people that I know you're fans of, and you're not weird with them.
No. But
Yeah,
I am
that's true. You know how to play it cool.
Yeah, but I
it's not
am
even-
monitoring. I'm watching myself from the outside have the conversation.
Yes, but I don't know that it's. I mean, do you feel like you're strategic with these people? No, you're
because if
friends with
anything,
them.
I think that's why they responded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my relationship with them started as, would you come to this thing, this crazy midnight movie event? And then I would lay out all the ways that they inspired me and my friends to do the things that we were doing. And I would write these gushy 3-page over the top fan letters that, like, I mean, you know, I had to appeal to their ego because it was so real. You know what I mean? And so I think because our friendship started on that level, but then I wasn't annoying. Like I didn't ask them to do, you know, autographs or things like, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't, I knew enough not to be annoying. My job was to put on the most amazing show and bring the audience to worship them and then have them be worshiped on the biggest, most fabulous pedestal. And so when it worked, they were like, I like this person. You know what I mean? So that's why.
So smart.
This was the Midnight Mass at the Bridge Theater.
So Midnight Mass, before it was the podcast that I do now, it literally was my midnight movie event that I did week after week, where I screened cult movies and then did a different show before each movie, you know, and it grew over the years. And actually those are the parody, you know, plays that I'm kind of known for. They were that's all born out of Midnight Mass.
Oh, I was wondering if they were two separate things because I was lucky enough to be in one of them.
Yes, you were. You were fabulous.
It was, Troop Beverly Hills.
Troop Beverly Hills
with
Trixie.
Yeah.
That was the first time I got to work with her.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Did you do a cartwheel?
No, but I do remember doing cookie time. And at one point, my wig fell off during the matinee show, not during the one that mattered.
I was going to say, do you remember? You're going to have to tell the listeners who was in the audience.
Okay, I forget her name, but the
cookie time,
cookie time girl was there. Cookie time. And so when I did the monologue on the second show, she like got up and walked down the aisle while I was doing it and was like doing it.
I was there,
and I was literally like, "What the." It was
kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. Yeah,
but that's totally born out of Midnight Mass. And what happened was the pre-shows became really long because I got more and more ambitious.
Start the movie at 2 a.m.
In the early days, it literally was so renegade that it was like a 30-minute pre-show. And, you know, it was insane. And I should have been arrested many times. There were a few times that the police did come. You know, I mean, you know, I set the stage on fire once, and this was,
we
were
hardcore.
We were crazy. You know what I mean? I was doing a Carrie pre-show and thought it would be fun, fine to have lighter fluid across the front of the stage so that when I got telekinesis after they dumped the blood on my head, in Squeaky or someone lit a match and threw it. But this is the best part. I fucking freaked out because I'm standing there covered in blood, and I thought a shooter had entered the building because once I set the stage on fire and the fire's all around me, you know, and we thought we'd contained it, you know, but we had balloons all behind me and the heat from the fire caused, but I didn't know it was the balloons popping. And I thought, I'm being shot at. It's finally happened. Some homophobes come to kill me. I mean, this was the world that I had cultivated. We did drag queen roller derby. We did mother-daughter mud wrestling. I one time dislocated Martini's shoulder and she was sent away in an ambulance. You know, it was crazy.
You think you're doing something special over there?
I'm doing as much as I can.
No, Fat Slut is super in the spirit. It's the thing that, you know, gets me to go out at midnight because it reminds me of me and Heklina when we were in our early days.
When you told me that at Fat Slut in San Francisco, I literally like almost started crying.
Well, you know, I would never say that unless it were true.
Yeah,
it's
you
true.
don't strike me as a liar.
No,
and it just meant so much because like I had heard so many stories about Shaq. Can we say that?
I say it all the time. Well,
I heard so
Alaska,
many
because it is what it was
called. It's the
name
of it. Yeah.
And I think if people are curious, we can go back and look at, you know, historically at that time, it wasn't a pejorative. It was a term that we used as an umbrella term, actually. A lot of people don't know that it wasn't exclusive to trans women. It was a term we used for drag queens, trans women, non-binary people. Before we had the word non-binary. Transvestites. We used to
cross.
Shack and Midnight Mass, we had a lot of straight guys come with their wives because it was the only place they felt comfortable dressing up and they weren't judged, you know.
So it was panties, that little mini
skirt. It was different. It was different.
Yeah.
And the word became a pejorative over time. And historically, if you could actually trace it to Christian Siriano on Project Runway, which of course poor Christian wasn't meaning for it to, but then Amy Poehler impersonated him on Saturday Night Live, and then it was in the mainstream.
He was just a little twink using slang he thought was fun.
Well, and he was part of our underground. He just happened to be on TV. You know?
You remember what he would call everything?
A hot tea mess.
Yes,
a hot granny mess. Not going to get canceled today.
Well, I mean, the thing is there is intention with all this stuff, right? So if you look at old, well, I remember, explaining to my grandfather certain words he couldn't use, right? And he would go, but the NAACP, and it's like, well, yeah, because historically that was okay when they named it that, and they're not changing their name, but why not, agree that people don't like that word? And that's where I'm at. I would never call someone the T slur, and I wouldn't use it casually, but I think it's weird if we don't say shack. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I feel like we can have the conversation. And if people are wanting to understand more, I can get really into it. Like in San Francisco at the time, it wasn't just that. Shauna Virago, who is a trans woman, a successful producer, ran the world's largest trans film festival. It was called the Film Fest. This was a totally normal thing at that time,
It is so fascinating how sort of little context or little empathy people have. They go like, well, this is the new morality threshold, and you've gone beyond it, and I don't care that you have any sort of history or any sort of context or anything. And then it's like, that's bad.
Context, intention, all that stuff matter. Which is why I have to say I'm excited to see Scary Movie 6.
Me too.
I love the Wayans. I feel like, I loved In Living Color. I think they've done, and I think that what they're saying is, we're not fucking transphobic, but we're going to make a non-binary joke in the credits or in the trailer.
The opening,
and if you don't want to see it, if it's going to offend you, don't go see it. But, intention matters. I understand where those filmmakers are coming from. And, if I were young today, if I weren't ancient, I would identify as non-binary.
Right.
I just didn't have that option. It wasn't language that we had.
You can still identify.
Here's the thing.
Do it right now.
I am.
Okay.
And I know that I am.
And she just did.
Right? You know what I mean?
They just did.
But I also am fine with continuing as I've been because it's what I'm comfortable with, which is call me she, her as Peaches. I love getting to express this part. I mean, when you do drag, it's so awful and so uncomfortable and so much hard work. There is a calling that goes deeper than wanting to dress up. It is about expressing gender identity. Although there's a few queens these days where I'm like, you're just a gay guy who needed an audience.
You're a BFA.
Rose.
Is that
so?
But you say that all the time.
I would say most of us are non-binary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not Rose though. My future husband.
Oh, you love Rose?
Oh man, I'm locked.
So you just want her just to be all man? Is that what it is?
Yep. Grow that beard out.
No, she wants her to wear the heels. Be all man.
Oh, is that your thing?
No, it's not at all.
I mean, I'm no judgment.
I don't like gay stuff.
Are you Kai?
No, never. Not even once.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wonder, is it because we're full of self-hatred?
Absolutely.
I do think that's connected.
That's why I go back to that guy. I suck, and he calls me a.
You do?
Because you hate yourself.
Speaking of Heklina, she loved all that.
Oh, yeah.
One time,
loved all that.
Time I ran into her. She would not mind me telling the story. I've actually told it before, but you will relate. Okay. I run into her on the street. No, we're walking somewhere. She has contusions all over the back of her head, but she thinks she's covered it up with a baseball cap. She's out of drag, obviously. Yeah. I'm like, are you okay? Did you get attacked? She's like, what? I'm like, you have bloody giant bruising all over the back of your, lower head. She said, oh, Pierre Francois came over. And that's the guy who used to kind of like bash her while she was getting off. And one time it was so intense. Listen to this. Listen to this. Matthew Martin, another drag performer, lived upstairs from Heklina, walks by her apartment and thought she was being murdered and was about to call the police, but then heard, oh, and then smack, and then, oh, hit me, daddy.
I don't like all that.
And the contusions, because of course I got aggressive. I was like, well, what did he do? Just punch you in the back of the head? She goes, no. I was laying on my bed with my head over the frame. She had a wooden bed frame. He was in her face. And so her head was being pounded into the back part of it was being pounded into the. Maybe we should edit this out.
No, leave it in.
No. I feel like I've denigrated my friend's memory. Could you please? I'm just kidding. She would be loving this.
Oh my god! Yeah, she'd be having sense memory.
Wait, but you're into it?
No, I don't like the physical. I never
You like
liked
being called
the
an
physical.
X-slur?
No, I used to. I told the story a while ago that I had to stop going to see him because he kept calling me a and I was like, I don't think I like that.
Have you ever been asked to do something that
Yes.
someone gets off on
Yes.
that makes you uncomfortable because it crosses a line of like, does that make sense?
I
Ma'am?
used to f a gentleman.
Yeah.
Well, I've gone back now, but I had to
See,
have.
I
I had to have a conversation with him so he'd stop doing it, but
Yeah.
he kept on wanting me to call him the N-word. Like he
Well,
wanted me
that's
to
what
like
I was gonna bring
race play with him, but I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And he was like, okay. And then we just didn't speak for like 3 months. And then eventually he hit me up and he was like, I'm okay without saying the N-word. And I was like, great, me too.
You're like,
That's
I'm back
interesting
in.
because you're black. And
Yes.
I think the guy that I was with.
But what do I know about being black? You know what I mean?
That's what I've heard about you. Anyway, the guy I was with, who was black, would be in the throes of like you're there, right?
Mhm.
Like you're not wanting to have a conversation, and then he would say things like, "I'm your this,
Mhm.
I'm your that," and like I'd be like, "Ooh, you know, because I would get freaked out. Like,
That's
no,
what would
you're
happen to
not.
me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Or I would just
No.
have to like close my eyes and be like, you don't hear it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't hear it.
That's so. I'm glad that we've shared that.
Trauma.
It was a
Well,
little
we
tra-
did. I
But
talked, talked with him.
Yeah, we
about
talked
it
and
later.
we got past it. That Sniffy's conversation is very funny. You know what I mean? When you scroll back.
Oh,
and
when
you're
you
like,
scroll back?
I'm not going to call
So
you the
it was
N-word.
on Snippy's.
That we had the conversation. He was like, something fell off at the end. And I was like,
Yeah, you made me uncomfortable.
very
You
Must
My
uncomfortable.
dude.
know though, right? Like, because it's like to me that seems really kind of extreme. Like,
Yeah,
why
it's-
would you assume that someone's going to automatically just
down
be
with
okay
that.
with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most taboo word in
Yeah,
our
I think
culture.
maybe he like looked at me and was like, I could say it in front of this guy.
Need a human toilet?
Oh.
Those guys are
They're crazy.
you
One
ever
hit me
had
up and
that
he was like, have you
experience?
pooped today?
big meal last night.
Anyway, we're going to get to sex talk in a little bit.
Yeah, but when we come back, we're
When we
gonna have
come back-
artistic conversation
Oh,
about
okay.
culture.
And I want to ask about Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Hard hitting questions.
Yeah. Ooh,
What?
spooky.
What's that like? Halloween.
What is that like? Can I come be part of your horror night show?
Yes, absolutely. Although I
just
will
need
say this.
someone to live with. Maybe I can take over Nikki
Live with?
Nikki Jizz's house.
Yeah, you can.
We could do an
Oh,
apartment swap.
extended.
Nikki
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
allow that. Yeah, but I will tell you this: the show ponies that I've had, the drag queens that have come to work at Terror Vault, Jinx did it one night, and her response at the end of the night was, "And I will never do that again."
I've heard this story.
Wait,
She's like, Jesus Christ, you have to do this 1,000 times.
So
yeah, it's every time a new group walks through,
Yeah,
right?
so I hated it. I was in.
You're the
Yeah.
producer.
Well, the thing is like it takes a certain kind of person, which is good that I did it because
Mhm.
as a writer, director, producer, I now go to bat for those performers at every turn, right?
Mm.
So I actually think, you know, the best drag producers I've found often are former performers or current performers, you know, and I feel like we produce differently because we know what it's like.
Yes.
And I think me doing that show was good because I would never have known. So if you're a show pony who does a show the way we do shows where you get dressed up, and maybe for some of my parodies, we have 2 a day, right? Maybe sometimes that would happen. You know kind of how to pace yourself and you can kind of get through that second show and still give 100% each
Yeah.
time. Terror Vault, if you give 100% each time, you're going to die before the night's over, you know,
Mm.
because it's 3-minute scenes
Mhm.
and you're either a scene actor or a scare actor.
Ah!
And if you're a scene actor, you know, you're saying the same things, doing the same thing. And on a busy night, you could be doing it 80 times.
Still want to do it?
It's fun.
I'll just
though.
go. We'll just
You
go.
should. You know what you should do
And just watch.
is come and go through the show and then do what I do, where you come and just be a scare actor for a night
Okay.
because
Mm.
I love it. And often, what's really really fun, like one time I really got Latrice. They don't know it's me. So when I have friends going through the show, I always pop in and hi, you know, go put on a mask and go get them
You're
and
so
really go for it, you know.
I went out to Not Scary Farm and
I
we
love
went
Not Scary
through one and they were dressed like old grandmas. It was like a
Oh,
retirement
Black
home.
Widow.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was good.
Or Widows. It's called Widows.
So they like start. It's like a retirement home, and it's all these old ladies, and then they all morph into like spider monsters.
Yes.
Oh wow.
It was cool.
Brilliant.
And in the beginning, like one of the earlier rooms, there's sort of like it's a little sort of comedic because they're all like playing old ladies.
Yeah.
So there's like a little improv, a little audience participation, whatever. And then they kind of walk you down the hallway. And this one grabbed my arm and started walking me, and she was like, "Love the podcast."
I bet I know who that was.
Yes.
My friend Forrest, who's a drag performer, played one of those ladies at the beginning of the maze.
Hi, Forrest.
Hi,
Maybe
Forrest.
it was you.
Yeah.
Because
That's-
they were like, "Hi, Big Dipper," and I was like,
Yeah.
That's scary.
That was the
had
scariest
to have
thing
been
that happened all
her. That
night.
had to have been her.
So how did you come up with the idea for Terrorval? It's everybody who doesn't know and doesn't live in San Francisco.
Let's get it started.
It's like a huge haunted house maze with scenes.
Didn't exist before we created it. And what I mean by that is like I'd met David Flower in Provincetown. I had heard that he was doing these haunted productions in the off season for Halloween. And Provincetown now has a big bear week around Halloween.
Spooky bear.
Yeah. So it's really kind of become a thing. And of course it's so romantic to be on the East Coast in the fall, right? And San Francisco doesn't really have that. But what we do have is an opportunity because unlike Southern California, which is the Halloween capital of the world,
I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely. You have more haunted attractions. It's because of the theme parks. Knott's Scary Farm was the first. So you've cultivated this audience for all these years. I mean, let's face it. Knott's has charm and creativity. I love Universal, but it's just too much of a... They oversell it. And so I don't enjoy going there and have to like push my way through.
And I got asked to leave once.
Why?
At the Halloween Horror Nights because a scare actor jumped out at me and I grabbed my friend and threw him into the actor.
Oh,
and they were like, "Sir," and they immediately grabbed me and pulled me out of a side exit.
Sir?
And they're like, "No more haunted houses for you."
Well,
So I had to go eat my pickle alone.
Our show mashes up a maze like that you would go to at Knott's or Universal, a classic, more haunted house kind of maze experience with immersive theater. So every year I write a new show. I always think of it as I'm creating a new movie, and it's a 60-minute play that you walk through, but some of it's very carnival and scary. And some of it's, but there's always a story. It's 3-act structure. And so last year it was about witches, and it was very folk horror. The year before was about aliens, and it was very sci-fi. And this year, which we haven't really announced, is 80s slashers.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it's called Slashed. Return to Hellville. And actually the concept is about a podcast. If you come, you'll see.
She gets body doubles of us. They just immediately get killed.
They're like, "Welcome."
The killer just walks in and is like,
"Fuck
"You're
you
ugly.
guys."
You're rude."
All right, do you want to play a game?
Yes, let's play a game.
Okay, this game is called Quickie.
Quickie.
Oh, I love a quickie.
I'm going to ask you a series of rapid fire this or that questions, and then you tell me which one you prefer.
Okay.
John Waters or Tim Burton?
John Waters.
The Exorcist or The Rocky Horror Picture Show?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Cult screening or red carpet premiere?
Cult screening.
Campy slasher or prestige horror?
Campy slasher.
Beetlejuice or Edward Scissorhands?
Ooh, that is tough, actually. Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, I was going to say that one too. Scream Queen or Final Girl?
Final Girl.
Practical effects or CGI?
Oh, practical effects.
Blood splatter or glitter bomb?
Blood splatter.
Drive-in movie theater or dingy gay bar screening?
Drive-in movie theater.
Because you hate gay bars.
No.
And I've heard this about you.
No.
That you want all the gay bars in America to close?
The reason is because a gay bar is an appropriate place for a screening.
Sure.
I do think there's a way to be raucous in a movie, but it has to be about the movie. And I feel like at gay bars, like most
It's
people,
gonna be about-
they're about the
Or about the gay guys thinking they're funnier. Than
Right,
everyone
Well,
else.
I will
Right.
say Vander Von Odd throws one every third Tuesday at
yeah.
Precinct.
Just read her?
No. Because it isn't like that. It's like a screening, like the back room is shut off and she has the
Oh.
chairs out, so you just sit and
So
like watch.
it's a
the
real.
movie.
It's not
Yeah.
just a movie
It's-
playing on monitors.
No,
Okay,
right.
that's what I was picturing.
No, but I think that this
Vander, I adore.
I love her.
Just,
And
just to be clear,
it's called Weird Sister. It's $10.
Oh, you should
But
all
you go in and she sits down and she like tells you a bunch of facts about the movie
Why
beforehand.
hasn't she invited me?
It's different
It's
city.
like a different city. You don't
I'm
live
here all the time.
Period.
Listen, this is
Vander,
for you and
come on
Vander
the
to talk
pod and
about.
answer to this egregious atrocity.
Yes.
Goth drag or trashy glamour?
Goth drag.
Vampire Daddy or Werewolf Himbo?
That's a tough one. Vampire Daddy.
Although
I was going to say
Werewolf Himbo.
I think both, but lately, and it's partly because I've been on a vampire kick of feeling like Nosferatu de-queered the vampire, and then seeing Luc Besson's Dracula, where he's problematic, which I get, but that movie was so joyous and had a sort of sexuality to it. And I'm like, oh no, vampires need to be queer, or at least poly and they can f- women, but they also are open to everything. Yeah.
Betty Davis or Joan Crawford?
Whoa,
that's heavy.
Shots
That's hard.
fired.
Joan Crawford.
Campy Scream or Dramatic Faint?
Campy Scream.
Horror remake or horror sequel?
God, that's a tough one because I'm not one of those anti-remake people, but I would say probably sequel. But I do like a lot of remakes, which surprises people because there's so many purists that
top
are like,
of mind.
What about the Psycho
like a
remake?
remake?
The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake of The Thing, but no one realizes that because they only think of John Carpenter's The Thing. The Fly. The Jeff Goldblum movie.
That was
The
a
Fly.
remake?
Yeah, it was a 50s drive-in movie,
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
You don't know that a movie is real unless it's in color.
And I'll say this, as far as some of the more, because those are the safest choices, right? But just to prove a point. But then there's movies that I really loved the original, but because the director had a limited means and couldn't make it the way they wanted to, I feel like George Romero's The Crazies, the remake of The Crazies is fantastic. And Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes. I thought that remake was so good.
I've only seen the remake. I haven't seen the original.
It's great.
San Francisco Nightlife or Hollywood Chaos?
San Francisco Nightlife, of course.
Low budget flick or big budget spectacle?
It depends on the movie. How can you answer that? Are we talking Showgirls versus Faster Pussycat Kill Kill? Like, either of those fit into those categories, right?
Yeah. Die fabulously on screen or survive covered in blood?
Survive covered in blood.
She wants to be the final girl.
I mean, Final Girls are my argument to why, as a young queer person, I was obsessed with horror. It was feminist filmmaking. Laurie Strode, it's a feminist tale, to be the nerdy, awkward girl who fights the monster. Heather Langenkamp and Nancy as Freddie, it wasn't Johnny Depp who figured out how to booby trap everything and take Freddie down. So I actually think horror doesn't get the credit it deserves for being actually progressive at a time when a lot of movies weren't. They just look at they show naked girls getting killed.
Right. Well,
It's
and there's that.
What's wrong with that?
There's that queer narrative of survival,
Exactly.
of making it through, of
and we identify with both the monster and the final girl. We do.
So are you a professor? What's going on?
Yeah, wait.
Are
Have
you
you taught
teaching
at a college
film?
You know that you can book my Queer for Fear college university show. Just go to peacheschrist.com and have your university bring me and Dr. Heather Petrocelli. We have a whole show that we do for colleges.
Do that.
Yeah.
Move your wig forward.
Oh my God. It's like the
It's just
Flashgate
it's just
all over
slowly
again.
moving.
It's just, yeah.
Okay, this is the reality. I am being a really tragic drag performer. I walked in, Meatloaf was gluing her wig down, and I thought,
Who?
What?
Who was?
Meatloaf.
I thought you were doing that as a bit.
Oh my God. It's because you
And
brought
he's
up,
dead
it's because you
too.
brought up Rocky Horror.
Wait, he's dead, right?
Am I the first person to call you Meatloaf?
No.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
Meatball.
I've done full on.
Spicy over here.
I've done
Spicy.
full on. It was 3,000 people at a Pride event, and the host introduced me as Meatloaf.
Meatball was gluing her wig down like a professional, and I was like, "This is for tea. I can get away with." So I'm the loser.
We have toupee tape back there for the next time you're here.
Yeah,
Die fabulously on haunted house or sexy dark room.
haunted house.
But
they can
be
be
doing
trying
a
to bring-
sexy dark room haunted house for
You
Halloween.
remember this? That person called in and gave us 1,000 pun names for a Drain Your Nut party that was all monster themed
No, I
for
don't.
Halloween.
Well, you guys have never been to Terravault, right?
No, we wanna
you
come
know
this
that
year.
it's R-rated. There's always
Yes,
always.
That's
Well,
what
of
I've
course,
heard.
we
San
have
Francisco.
It's San
we have
Francisco.
porn
Tickets
stars
everywhere.
in the show. Yeah.
I almost went, but I had to do that Halloween gig at the museum. And it was the same day, and I had to fly
My
out the next
show
day.
that I retired. Did you know I started that?
I had heard.
I invented it. Yeah. Creatures of the Nightlife.
And thank you, Mama Celeste, for having me.
I was-
Evil nun or killer clown?
Evil Nun.
Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Scream.
What is she screaming? I Know What You Did Last Summer. She's like got her arms up.
What are you
What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? It's so good.
Iconic.
Well, and
thank you for playing Quickie.
Absolutely.
You are obviously such an encyclopedic knowledge of film. You have such a passion for filmmaking. What? Like, where did that come from? And you have something happening soon? Getting back in that director's chair?
A couple things. Yeah. So I have asked my parents this because I'm lucky enough to be interviewed about my life now. And that's a common question. So I've actually gone to mom and dad and said, when did I get into this? And they're like, literally, you were born this way.
Wow.
And I just always was. And I think part of it is being sensitive and empathetic, and horror and dark stuff, especially if you're young and queer and a sissy and being raised Catholic. And it was like an outlet for me to kind of like, explore stuff.
Yeah.
That being said, I grew up, knowing that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I did not know I wanted to be a drag queen. That came later.
Oh, okay.
So filmmaking was like, if you asked me as a little kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? It would be a filmmaker. So
what was your answer?
Problem. I want to be a problem.
Problem child.
Yeah. No, I think I just said I wanted to be an actor. I think I always wanted to be an actor.
So you were always a little performer. So was I.
Always.
I was always a little performer. I was always a little producer. I was always, my first haunted thing was when I was 12 and 13, and I would audition all the neighborhood kids and write scripts. And, I was always making movies.
Put on plays for your parents.
Yeah, so in a way, I feel like I'm an adult
too.
who is basically just a version of what I was as a kid.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same, What did you want to be?
I would
Black.
Wow, really?
That was a good one.
You were like into gangsta rap, and did you use all the
You use the
terms?
No. I grew up listening to rap music.
Okay. Yeah, you're a rapper.
I always said I wanted to be a fireman.
I'm just
a
realizing.
fireman?
Yeah, because I made that decision early when the options were like doctor, lawyer, policeman,
Oh,
fireman.
no. I said actor. I said I want to be famous.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't do plays, but I would make little movies. I would take my dad's camcorder and get the neighborhood kids and be directing the scene. And then I'd be like, now you hold the camera because I'm going to star.
That's the thing. There's a certain kind of us that just are that way.
Yeah.
And I was that way.
Yeah.
And my brother, who is also gay, was not that way. Right. So it's an interesting thing because he is what I would consider to be more of if you went to West Hollywood, and saw a very fit, well-dressed, gay, that's my brother. So we grew up in the same family. We're both gay, but culturally we're totally different. Although
Baby,
we get
nature
along.
over nurture.
Yeah.
Your people are drawn to what
Does
they're
he come to
drawn
your shows?
Oh yeah, we get along really, really well.
Yeah.
He's a diplomat. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's posted
I've
right
dipped
now
in a
in
mat or
Mexico
two.
City.
You know
So
what I
we
mean?
were just there. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That you knew.
Yeah, and so I just grew up knowing. I went to film school.
Yeah.
And then while I was in college, I started doing drag. So the thing for me is I discovered drag through my love of cult movies.
Yeah.
It was divine when I was a kid because they were making Hairspray when I was 12 and 13. And while they were making it, it was so well publicized in Maryland locally, because celebrities were coming to Maryland. I was like, who is this divine? And I got to go and rent Multiple Maniacs and Pink Flamingos from the local video store because this is the same place that rented me Caligula at age 12.
Jesus
Remember,
Christ.
I'm Gen X.
Yeah.
There were no controls.
Oh yeah, PG-13 and R-rated didn't come out until later.
Yeah.
So
I think we had Pink Flamingos in my
but that
video
blew my
rental.
mind.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. And so Pink Flamingo, Divine. Then shortly after that, seeing Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
And then I grew up obsessed with Elvira. And so for me, drag and movies have always gone hand in hand. So it wasn't until later that I realized I'm a different kind of drag queen because I thought that's what drag was.
What it was.
Divine was such a huge inspiration for me that I was like, we all are going to be gnarly.
Right.
Nasty.
Yes, exactly.
Well, she said on Race Chaser talking to Alaska, she was like, I didn't know that tipping was part of the culture.
I listened to that. That was crazy to me.
We never at Tranny Shack accepted tips,
Yeah.
And Alaska joked, it's because we're doing this. It's like, she's absolutely right. For my numbers, I used to have to go to the local hardware store and then I would rent a chainsaw and I would say, give me the gassiest, fumiest chainsaw you have, because I knew I was going to be using it in the tiny little stud bar. And
Everyone's getting high.
I would ask them to take the chain off of it and they'd be like, why? You know, because they're renting chainsaws for
And
real
you're like,
purposes.
For people to
I'm an
chain
artist.
things.
Take that chain off.
I would sort of, I guess I would say whatever, but I would go and, I'd be chainsawing someone at Tranny Shack. And so you couldn't take tips.
I had numbers like that. Now I build in
The
like
tip
the
moment.
30 seconds or a minute of grabbing tips. But I had one number where I had to go to a hardware store and ask them for a box of old keys. They were like, oh, these are all keys that we made of like duplicates or whatever. And he's like, what are you going to use them for? And I was like, oh, just art stuff. I'm not going to try to open doors. And it was my Oprah number. And I would just take a handful of like metal keys and just throw them at the audience.
Why?
Because you get a car, you get a car, you get a car.
Did anyone ever get hurt?
No.
Have you
I
ever
mean,
hurt an
Why didn't
audience
you do,
member during a number?
I love bread.
I did. It started with I love bread, and then I would throw bread at the audience.
Oh my God.
No one's ever been hurt.
you love
One time
props.
when I was in Seattle, I had this McDonald's number where I threw hamburgers.
Uh-huh.
See?
And
She
I
likes
tossed
throwing
it.
shit.
And I love throwing things, and it knocked someone's drink over. And like at the end of it, I went over and bought them a new drink, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And he was like, "No, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened."
That's
to me.
sweet. You're
Yeah.
good. I mean, I think most of us are like that, where it's like we really actually, we want to assault them, but not really.
Yeah, I don't
We
want
want
anyone
them
to
to be
actually get
in
hurt.
on it and to have fun. Bunny used to always, I was on a tour with Bunny once, and this was so annoying. Part of her bit was a thing with McDonald's. And so in the green room, every single night in the dressing room, a sack of McDonald's would be brought
that's
in.
me.
literally
That was literally me when I did the Dragula
For
tour.
years.
Young
Okay.
Bunny.
I love Bunny.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the
I don't remember-
original queen.
I don't even remember why she had. Oh, I know.
she was hungry.
She would do this thing like bum 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 bum. What's that song where it's bum 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 bum, and she'd go McDonald's.
Patrick, look that up. Bump, 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 bump. Kazam this.
Bum, bum,
Wait,
bum. It was
okay.
a popular song at the time.
Chumbawamba?
No, she also had a gerbil up her hole. So
No,
she'd
she
This
didn't.
is not
she did.
Peaches.
She would put it up
Peaches.
there. Have you ever seen that bit where she'd be like, "And now you'll hear from the gerbil in my," and she would turn around and then hold the microphone up to her ass, and you'd hear it like Alvin going like, "Hello," and she would sing. The gerbil would sing Adele. I'm not lying. I'm not making. I wish I was this brilliant.
This is insane.
That's crazy.
She's insane.
You never saw her do
No,
that.
I've
She only
never
did it
seen
a
that.
million times.
I've just seen that.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
When I first started performing, I had a song that was like all meat parodies called
Uh-huh.
Meat Quotient. And I leaned into props too. And so when I would
Yes.
do gigs in Chicago, I would go buy a pack of bacon and I would make bacon at home
Oh,
and I'd bring it and then I'd have the dancers pass it out and sort of dance with it sexy.
Right.
For every time we did the meat song. Well, I started performing a lot more and I was like, God, I gotta cook this bacon every
Yeah,
time. So when
that's a
I'd go
lot.
out of town, I would put it on the rider and they would like provide me with cooked bacon.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes when we were in a pinch, we would just go to the store and get some cold deli meats.
Oh.
And there was this
That's
one
funnier.
time that the dancers were like whipping like bologna and ham at the audience, and it hit this
Smacking him.
vegan woman in the face. Because also, like a crowd at a gay bar,
Yeah, of course.
there's going to be a fair amount of vegans
yes.
up in
Yes.
there. And so I had to deal with the aftermath of that. And I was recently telling this story, and someone that we know said, I never told you this story, but the first time I met you was a long time ago. And I went to your show in Portland and I ate the bacon that you were passing out, and I got violently ill for a day.
Well, because you're an idiot. Who eats
Who is
any
the
bacon that's been tossed to
Anytime I
you at
threw
a gay
those
bar?
hamburgers, someone literally would look at the sticker, and because McDonald's used to put the stickers of what time it was made,
Ah.
and he was like, "It's 9 p.m. or 10 o'clock. Why are you giving me something from noon?" And I was like, "Because it's a prop and it's not supposed to be eaten."
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I still ate it."
You're passing food out and you don't want these people to eat it?
No, it's a prop.
It's a
You should know
prop.
better. Vincentos at Tranny Shack one time, this reminds me, she put a hot plate on her head and went out and put bacon on top of it. And so she's performing her number while bacon is frying on her head. She comes off the
grease.
stage. She comes off the stage shaking, shivering, pulls the top of her head is bubbling. Like we can see her skin is like now, she gave herself a 3rd-degree burn. Like who the
For art.
She also, get this.
For art.
This is a really good story. One night, she because she used to do the fire. She's the one who set the stud on fire one night. She goes to do her fire trick, puts her lighter fluid in a Aquafina water bottle, leaves it backstage. Some goes back there. I'm not going to say who. Someone we know.
Seth.
Drinks no, it's before Seth's time. This was a long time ago.
Poison?
They had to be rushed to the hospital. I mean, they were in the hospital for 2 days.
So if you drink poison, it's good to go to the hospital?
Yes.
Hey, Meatball, what did you drink the other night?
I accidentally did a very similar thing and drank a bunch of Telesis Super Solve makeup remover.
No.
Drank like a cup of it out of a water bottle and then just was like, ooh. And then just drank a tequila soda and got back on stage.
And then threw up
I threw up blood. Black.
Ooh.
But I didn't go to the hospital. I'm still here.
And how's your pancreas?
Doing great.
Hey, to be fair, she's an American. Who goes to the hospital? I mean, you know what I mean?
I was like, what was I going to do? Go in there for them to like, put a bunch of charcoal in me and then be like, go home?
And then you're bankrupt. For the rest
and then
of
I
your
paid
life.
like
I do have
2,000
activated charcoal if you ever need.
I have it at home
there
too
you
because
go.
I'm afraid of poisoning myself around the house.
Everyone, thank you for watching Sloppy Seconds here on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. New episodes every Friday with our special guests. And Meatball.
If you would like to get sick with us, head on over to the Patreon and sign up for Mom Plus Gold because we get sick over there.
Peaches, thank you so much for being
Thank you
here.
being here.
Oh,
Mommy.
thanks for having me. This
Can I
was
be
so
your
fun.
daughter?
Yes.
Me and Bob are sisters.
Yes.
She'll still call
This
you
is
fat.
official, right? You don't have a drag mother?
I do.
Oh, who is it?
Marta beat you?
Hey, you're going on tour in the UK, are you not?
I'm just going to say this. If Marta ever doesn't fulfill the needs that you have as a daughter, then just hit me up. And yes, I am going on tour. Thank you so much.
course.
It's actually one of the reasons I reached out to you because
let's
you
promote.
all have a massive audience, and I am bringing Mink Stoll to the UK and Europe,
That's crazy.
where she's never performed. And we are doing idol worship at the BFI South Bank.
Wow.
In their huge theater. So we're going to London, Manchester, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Amsterdam, Dublin.
You do cool.
Such cool shit.
Peacheschrist.com. P-E. I'm just kidding.
A-C-H-E. I'm not done. S-C-H-R-I-S-T.com.
.com.
There you go. Thank you.
And when is that? April?
Yes, early April, and we'll be on tour throughout all of April.
Get your ticks.
Get your ticket.
And I'll pray for Mink Stoll. So she shouldn't die.
Yeah.
Oh,
period.
that's true.
Yeah, because going with you.
I brought
Don't
Roma
share a
and
flat.
She survived.
Oh,
so,
okay, good,
yeah.
good.
All right. Bye.
M. Oh. M. Mom.